started working with one simple example on iterations and how to deal with iteration related properties. For that, we started creating one example. In that example, I showed you some options for designing, and we created an example of this shopping with these attributes. So let's check and complete that example here. Starting the project here. Yep. So it is successful. Let's run this. So this is what we designed localhost. Yep. This is the example we designed. And in this example, we created up to the categories user can select and add to cart, and item added to the cart, and show the items in the cart. Now in this, additionally, what we need to do is, so we need to create an option here, create an option for deleting these products from the shopping cart. This is the cart items. So user can select any particular category and add to cart. Okay, they are added to the cart. So we can show hide the cart here. And we want these cart items to be removed. This is to be removed. Now, actually here, to handle this, go to the cart items here. So this is the cart items. These are the cart items in the table. In the cart items, so in this row, we have three cells: item, name, price, and preview. That is the photo actually, that is the preview. And here I will add one more cell, and in that we will keep a button. So class as BTN and BTN outline danger. And for this button, let's add a span and class as FA and FA trash. Okay. And you can see beside every item here, we will add that electronics, some add to cart, and you can see in the cart, this delete button will come, the remove button will come. So I'm adding another item into the cart. Okay. And for every item, that button is added. Button is added. Now what I need to do here is when I click on that button, so when I click on that particular delete button, that record must be removed. So that right item must be removed. So here, actually in our logic, we have only one button. In the logic, we have only one button. We designed only one button. And that button is repeated. This button is repeated for every item. It is repeated for every item. And if you are dealing with a button and it is repeating for every item, now one of the main problem we will face here is generally, suppose this is happening actually. So this is the button. And this button is repeating for every row. In that case, when you write a function, so when you write a function for the button, then what happens is, means method button click. Now all are pointing towards the same function. And usually what happens is, in this function, you will write the logic for delete record. You will write the logic for delete record. Now, when I click, when I click the delete for the first button, when I click delete for the first button, for this button, I click delete. Then this function will fire up. That means it is going to fire up that particular function. It is going to fire up this function. When that function is fired up, so this function is fired up, automatically this function will affect all others also. That means you click this delete button and it will delete all of them. That's what generally happens. Because all are using the same function, all are pointing towards the same function, and the same function will affect everywhere. Now it's very important to tell this function which button is clicked, so that it will work for only that button. So that means, so which row, so the button from which row is clicked, so that only it will work. So here important is we need to write a event for this button. So that means, let's say into the shopping cart.ts, here I am writing here remove cart item. This remove cart item should fire up on the button click. That means this remove button click. So on click, so it should fire up. So that means we are defining remove cart item. It should fire up remove cart item. Now it's okay. Now this is remove cart item is firing up. Now this remove cart item so should indicate, so the function, that means this button should tell so for which record it should work for. So this button is being used in the iteration. You can see this is our iteration. So it is being used in the iteration. So what we are doing here, so we are creating a variable I which is accessing the index, and this index will get the index of every record, every row, and that index we will pass here. That means remove cart item is a function which is expecting the index number, and we are accessing that index number, and we are displaying that index number here. So displaying that index number here. So technically now what happens here is this index is referring to that particular element. 1 second, I will be back, right? 1 second. Yep. So sorry for that, right? Yep. So now here, this button is going to fire up this remove cart item function, and the same button is repeated for every record. But when you click the button at a particular row, that row index will be passed into this remove cart item. We can test that. So what we will do, we will collect that index here, index, and we will put an alert to just print that index, whatever the index is collected here. Now let's run this and see here. And I have certain records here. Add. So one record is there. So I'm adding another record. Okay. And that is also added there. Now I click on the second record, this delete button. Its index will fire as 1. First record index will fire up as 0, 0. That means we are able to handle, because remember, because all are same button only, button, but they are working for, they are working for a specific record now. Now, if you can get the index number of that particular record, then it is easy to remove that record. So if you can get the index, how we can remove any item from an array, any specific item from an array. We learned about the array functions. So by using the array functions, we have to remove the item from this cart items array. So how you can remove the item, any specific item. So by using this dot cart items, it is the array. In that, if you want to remove any specific item, then we have to use splice. We know that. The splice function, from which index you want to remove. So from index, the index number, how many items you want to remove? 1. That is how we need to define. Already we know, we discussed the splice function. Splice is used for adding the records, removing the records. Splice can add the record at any specific location. Splice can remove the record from any specific location. It can handle that. So, and before deleting, if I need a confirmation, then I will write here let. So suppose I said flag, something like this, flag, and confirm. So confirm. So confirm. And here we will display a message saying that record, I say, are you sure? Are you sure? So want to delete. So want to delete. This message will come. And we will write the condition here. If a flag is equal to true, flag is equal to true, then we will delete that item. Otherwise, no need to touch anything, right? So it is true, then only delete the item. So, and we need to keep an alert here, suppose alert. So, and say item removed from cart, That is the option we have to display. Now, this is how we can handle any specific record here. Now, you can see I am selecting that and adding item. Okay. Another item is added into the cart. Okay. And here I want to remove any specific item from the cart. Suppose I want to remove this second ear pods from the cart. I click on delete and it says, are you sure you want to delete? I said cancel, don't want to delete, then it will not be deleted. It will be there. I click on delete. I said, are you sure you want to delete? I said, okay. Then removed item removed from cart, okay, and that is gone. That means we are removing that specific item from the cart and displaying that. Now, this is the situation where generally we need the index number in an iteration. That means while you are performing an iteration, so by using this index number, we can send the location of that particular item in iteration so that it can work for that particular item. It can handle that particular item if you can access the index number of that. So in the iteration properties, so many properties are there. So in the iteration properties, we have an index property. So this is a property of ngFor. It is a property of ngFor. It gets the iteration index number. So by using that iteration index number, we can handle this situation. So this is a simple example. So how we design. Now, in this example, I will give you one task. You try to do that. You try to achieve that. And one more point here, right side cart items count is not updated. It is still saying 3, but it should be 2. So that is because, so the count we are not updating. It's very simple. After removing, so here we have get count. So get count function, we have to call that. So this dot get count function should be called. So which is going to update the count. That is important. So here you see now I'm adding this here. Okay. And right side you can see the cart items is 1. Okay. And after that, so cart items is 2. It is showing that 2. Count is right side, it is displaying your cart items 2. Now when I click on delete, so are you sure? Okay, then automatically deleted, removed from the cart. Okay, then count should update to 1. That's important. So that is generally how we need to handle. Now I want you to try, so another one extra work here. So what you need to try extra is a simple task for you. So the point here is generally when user is adding the items, this is little bit task complex. In this task, what are the points I will upload in the classroom? You check those points here. First one, in the same example, what you have to do is, so adding items into cart. So while adding item into cart, so it should verify. So while adding item into cart, so verify existing item, and if already there, then should not add. So while adding item into cart, verify existing item. If already that item is there in the cart, it should not add. Now the point here is, in an array, how you will search for a particular item that is being added, already there or not. And if it is there, if you found that item, then don't allow to add again. So only one time it should be added. This is the extra work you have to do. Second, so that is you have to do. That means I am saying that in this design, I am saying that already JBL speaker is added. Suppose I am adding some casuals, that is also added. Now again in electronics, I am selecting JBL speaker and add to cart. Currently it is added, but it should not add. If already item is there, the same item is there, it should show an alert saying that item exists in the cart. Item exists in the cart. That is the option you have to define. the exists in the cart, that is the option you have to define. And generally, if user wants the items multiple, then user can choose the quantity. Actually, user can choose the quantity. If they want multiple, user can choose the quantity. Based on the quantity, the price can be displayed and manipulated and added. So that you can design actually. So I don't want this to be added. So if already there, I should provide a facility that user can select the quantity of the items. Obviously, you can do that actually in the shopping cart. Here you can see in the shopping cart after the preview. So just beside that image. So beside that image in the cell. So this is the image cell here. Here I'm just adding input type is equal to number. Input type is equal to number. Input type is equal to number. And this number is having, so min is equal to 1. So max is equal to some 4 and the value is equal to 1. That is what we defined for that input type number. That means this comes with, you can see that when I add any item here, so add to the cart, then it will get me, so that cart item, that number quantity will come. So that means how much quantity, that number up down will come. And when I select here the up down 2 or 3, so that means the quantity here very important is, so the items quantity based on the items quantity, I will tell you what to handle. I will tell you. You can put this, user selects the 2 or 1 or some options here. Now its price is 4,000 only, but according to the quantity, when user selects 2, so I want here one more work to be done by your side. That means, so add this, already I added that, add quantity of cart, every quantity for every item. So add quantity for every item to select from numeric number type. So number input type, right? Number input type. That is one option. One more option is you need to add summary for cart. So summary of cart items. Summary for cart items. Summary for cart items means total amount. Total amount for the cart items you need to add. That means here, what you need to do extra is, suppose I selected another cart, earpods. Okay, another item is added here. And for this item, so this is 1 and these are 2. Now how much quantity they have selected, you need to collect this value and into the price of every item available. I want at the bottom, so that means at the bottom means here in the design, this design I will give you. So at the bottom, I want the total amount of the cart items. That means I want you, so to present, so at the bottom, I want the total amount. That means cart summary. I want the total. I want the total to display here, total. So total amount, how much it should display by calculating this according to the quantity. According to the quantity, it has to calculate the total amount for all the items and display here. I want you to add that total option. So that means, so you need to add 3 things into this logic. So while adding an item into cart, verify is it there or not. If it is not there, then add. Second, add quantity for every item to be selected and add that into the summary. one more you have to design is, so create delete all button for cart items, delete all button for cart items. That means I want you to put an delete button here above, and when user clicks that delete button, all records must be deleted. That means how you can delete all the records from an array. So on the delete button click, all the records from that items array, cart items array must be removed. So these are the additional tasks you have to perform. And if you can do that, so that's good. That means you have achieved a good example with what you have learned up to now. So these are the 4 things you need to complete in that example. Already I given, I will upload that example. Already that example is there. I will upload that example, right? I will upload that example, and to that example, you need to add these 4 functionalities additionally. So this is the task for you. You have to try this and submit me if you have done in the classroom itself. So are you clear what to achieve? Will you able to do? Will you try that? Can you try these things in that example? Already 90% of example finished. Now the rest, these 4 points you need to handle inside it and achieve it. So I hope everyone understood this task. Understood this one? Right? Yeah. So if you understood this, then let's see how many of you can handle this. And if you can, then try submitting this into the classroom with the code that you have done, so that I can check that. Okay. So this is a simple example. So for working with iterations and arrays, so whatever we have learned. Here the main concept is iteration related properties to identify the index number of that particular item there. So, but important is every time the item is not identified, by its index number only. Every time index number only not required. Actually, several times when you are dealing with this, so technically several times when you are dealing with this, we need to know about the item and other details of that particular item. So for that, index is not only the option, we can do a lot of other things also. I will show here. So that means I will show how we can manage that, I will show how to handle that, right? So here quantity, in this example, quantity you can put anywhere. You can put here, or in this, while selecting that object itself, you can select the quantity, how many items they want. Based on that, the amount must be displayed. That's your wish. You can design anyway. That's now another concept here is, another important point is not only the index number to identify, and index is not satisfied every time. Sometimes we need to send the complete record related details to the function. Currently function is getting only index, but this function should know all the details of that particular item. Not only just index, it has to know all the details. So based on those details, it can manage the functionality. So that means every time, don't think that by sending the index number, you can handle that record. So index number is only to get the information about the iteration index number, not that item. That means, for example, so when you click on remove item button, only index number is sent into it. This remove cart item doesn't know about the current item. It doesn't know which item it is working for. It is just using the index number of iteration. That means row index number. It doesn't know that it is working for speaker or earpods. When you click on remove button, it doesn't know that it is working for earpods. It knows that it is working for second row, right? So index will tell the row. It will not tell other details. But many times we need to handle other details. For example, I will show you. So let's create another example. That means you have to know that iteration index means not every time just index is enough for accessing the details of that item. So how you can manage that? Let's see, suppose I am creating a component, ng generate component some likes demo. So this is a component, okay. So we are generating the component here. So, and let's keep this component in the startup. Yeah, so likes demo, that is the component. Yeah, that is the component, and in the index, let's change to likes demo. Okay. Here I am defining some likes demo. Okay. And here the likes demo works. It is working. Okay. Now let's design this. So in the components, so the likes demo, and in the TS file, so I will just add some data. So we are adding the data. Here our intention is to understand in an iteration how to handle the item. So products is an array of objects, and in this, so we defined the name. So name is the some name, JBL some speaker, and here we have a photo, and photo some assets some speaker dot jpg. So and here yeah, and here it is having a option likes, so which is 0, so that is a number, and dislikes, and that is also 0, right? So I will copy that and I will add. So that means every product has some likes and dislikes option here, and I'm writing here some Nike casuals, and suppose I said some shirt, and here shoe dot jpg and shirt dot jpg, and by default all are having likes 0 and dislikes 0. Okay, this is an array. Now I need to design a presentation for this. Let's go to the likes demo component, and here we are creating a div and a class container. Now in this we will create a div, so class as let's keep this as card deck. And in this, so we are creating here, so class as card, okay, and this card should repeat for every item. So ng for let, so item of products, okay, and in this usually card have a card header, and in the card header we want to just display the name, item dot name, and we need a div and that is the class card footer. Okay, and this is the div class as some card footer, and here we have an image. So better, this is the body. Okay, and here we have an image, and image source is dynamically coming from source is an attribute item dot photo. So width is 200 and some height also 200. So that is a card. Okay, so text center will keep that into center. Okay, this is the item here we have. Okay, and at the footer at the footer, so here we are displaying. So remember, this card is repeating. This card is repeating. Inside every card we have a card header, card body, and a card footer. So class card footer, and in this card footer we are adding the buttons. So we will add the button. I will just keep a div. So class as a btn group. We will create a button group. In the button group, we will keep a button, and this button, so we'll have a span, and the class is fa. So it is thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up is the one. So that is for likes. We are giving the option as thumbs up. Okay, and here I want to display, so the item dot likes, and this is class as btn, and suppose it is like so btn outline, so btn outline danger, that is the effect I given to that. Fine, so this is here I need to display the word as the likes. So likes, that is the option we design. Okay, and similarly we need another button. So copy. In the button group we have two buttons, and this is like thumbs down. So thumbs down. This is like dislikes. So, and here we will put dislikes. Okay, now you can see the design, how this is generated now. So this is the design generated here for this, all of them. And this also footer I will put as a text center, and that image might be JBL speaker. Okay, and you can see this is the output generated for that. Okay, this is the output generated for this, that means the card. Now here for every option we have likes and dislikes. We have every option likes and dislikes here. Here the point is when I click on likes button, remember only two buttons are there, but they are repeating for every item. Now when I click on likes button, it should work only for this record. Only this JBL speaker likes must be incremented. It should not affect the others. So that means now actually for all likes button in all the products, only one function is working. That means you have to write a function. Here we need to write a function for that likes. So what's the option here? So simply we need to define here. So on likes click, on likes click, I need to increment the likes, and this should be used on likes click and on dislikes clicks, Two functions are there. These two functions will be defined. These two functions are defined here. So that means for the likes button, click. So for the likes button click, so it should work for on likes click, And this button on click, it should use on dislikes click, on dislikes click. That is the function it have to follow. So likes click and dislikes click, that is the approach it need to follow. So on the button, it should handle this. On the button, it should handle this. Okay. Now, important part is here, the key concept is generally when you are dealing with this, now when I click on this button, so if I send index of that particular button as previous example, so that index will get the record index number, but it will not get the record details. It will not get the record details, only its index number. But what I have to do is, in this likes click, I have to collect that particular item related details. In that there is a likes property. That likes property must be incremented. That means if you send index here, previously, through that index, you cannot access that likes. You cannot access that likes because index is just the row index number. It is not having likes property. You cannot handle likes, you cannot handle dislikes, you cannot handle name, all these things. That means sending index number will get only the index number, not the information about that particular item. So if you cannot send the information of that particular item, you cannot handle the details of that particular item. So that is the reason, that is the reason here. What we have to do is, so we cannot send index number every time. So when you are working on iteration, sending index is not the solution every time. So this time what I can do is, so this item I can send into it. This item can be sent into it. That means on click, entire item related detail is sent into it. We are sending the item related information into it. That means this item is an object now. This object contains name, photo, likes, dislikes. So this item is an object. It is an object which contains all the details. If you send index, only index number will be sent. That's not satisfying. Similarly, dislikes also, we have to send item. So using index number and accessing index number is not only the solution every time. So we have to handle that. So with the different situations. Now we are sending the item here. When we are sending the item, I will just access that item here. So I will just access that item here. You can see I can access that item here. You can give any reference name. I am accessing that item here. So that means here I am accessing that product here. So this is product is just a formal for that. Now what should happen on this is, product is an object. That product object is having likes, likes. But very careful. Why? Because, so remember, so when you are collecting this, you are not using any products.likes in the output here. In the output, we are using item.likes. So better what you do is use that same variable reference here, item. So use the same variable reference item and use item.likes. Then plus, that means increment should happen. Now automatically item.likes is configured as a variable. Actually, this is a variable. So this variable item.likes variable, whatever the updated count is there, that will be displayed here. So that means you are accessing the dislikes. Here we are accessing that item. And we are accessing item related. We can access item related name. You can access item related photo. You can access item related dislikes, and dislikes counter should be incremented. This is the basic approach we follow. That means you cannot pass index number. So index number is not suitable every time. That means to identify for which record it should work for. So to identify for which record it should work for. So you have to send index number, or you have to send the item, iterating item details. Index number to identify its location only, but not the details of that particular item. So for that we need to do this. In that case, now this problem is solved. Suppose you see here, so Nike casuals, I am clicking likes here. The likes for only this item will increase here. So only likes for that item will increase. Others are not affected now. Others are not affected. Others can individually work now. And dislikes, you can see here, dislikes, every item have its own dislikes counter. Every item has its own likes and dislikes counter. Actually, all buttons are using the same function. All likes buttons are using the same function. If they are using the same function, then they should have the same value, but it is not having the same value now. Why? Because when that button is clicked in an iteration, we can identify for which item it is clicked, and we can access that item, and we can use that item. We can use that item. That is the intention. That is the key point here, how we can manage this. So this is the simple approach. This is the simple approach. That means this is just to tell you that sending index number is not every time suitable to know about that particular item. So many times you need to send information about that particular item to handle that item. And over an iteration, you can send that item. So because this is the iterating item currently. This is the iterating item, and you can access that iterating item and use that iterating item here. So this is generally how you manage the iterations. In iterations, how you manage the index, and how you identify iterating item details. So index and item details. Index is a predefined property. Item details, for every item you can send that particular details and use the detail there. So this is very important. Actually, you can observe that what is happening here is when user clicks on this button, so likes button, this event will fire up. It will get this item object. It will get that item object, and that item object is incrementing the likes counter. Actually, this item is referring to the current iterating item, which is having likes. So, and we are accessing and using it. So that is the approach here. Suppose if I send the index number, through the index number, you cannot identify its other details. You can identify its location. Other details cannot be identified for that. So that is the reason we need to handle this, right? So this is how we can manage, how we can handle and use index. Now similarly, why we need first? So first, why we need last, why we need even, why we need odd, and why we need track by. That means these are the other properties. Generally, they are used for the iteration. First, last, even, odd, these are nothing but, these are the properties actually, iteration properties. These are the iteration properties. The main intention of these iteration properties is nothing but, as I showed you, that they are going to return a Boolean value. They are going to return the Boolean value. Generally, if you can know its occurrence, is it an even occurrence, an odd occurrence? Because when every item is repeating, so it will have same effects. Mostly we know the occurrence index number. That means, is it even or is it odd occurrence? That is very important to understand to apply some effects. For example, suppose see, we have the same table here. Suppose we are having the same table. in the container above this card, I will just roughly create a table here. And in the table, I'm just adding here, so a table body. And in that we have row. And this row should repeat. So NG for, so LET, so LET item of products, and it should display the cell. So here we defined as item dot name. So item dot name. And here we are using another one is here just other details like some item dot likes, some options I am defining, and other detail like item dot dislikes. Now this row is repeating. When row is repeating, and you can see that this option works here. And I am configuring here. You can see this is the table. This is the table we are having. So that means JBL speaker, Nike casual shirt. That is the row is there here. Now I want to apply the effect for the row. That means for table, I am using the class called table, and I am applying the class table. And the table class is applied here. So JBL speaker, Nike casuals, these are the row. When we were working for a table, I want to apply some effect for the row. Remember, actually only one row is there and that row is repeated. If I give a style, so like some background color, so antique white, some color I given, then this will apply for all of them, because it is repeating. But if an item is repeating and the same effects will repeat for every location, that is complex. That doesn't look great. So what we can do is we can make this repeat for even and odd occurrences. That means what we can do is we can identify whether it is the first item or the last item. Is it the even item or the odd item? Based on that, we can apply effects, so that all even occurrences will have one effect. All odd occurrences will have one effect. First item will have one effect. Last item will have one effect. We can identify the location, so occurrence location, and based on that, we can apply effects. That means we can write the styles and we can configure the styles. Actually, so for that, we need to get whether it is a first item or last. We cannot apply the same effect. You cannot write the style here. If you write it, it will affect for all of them. We need to know the occurrences, and based on that, we have to apply them. For that, we need to get the information about LET, some E is equal to even. Similarly, LET, O is equal to odd. That means odd is a property. This odd property gets true if it is an odd occurrence. Even property gets true if it is an even occurrence. If you can get true, false, based on that, we can apply some styles dynamically. How do we apply the styles dynamically? That means generally what we can do here is I will go to the CSS. So here I will go to the CSS. Through Angular, dynamically styles can be added. So through style binding and class binding techniques, I will tell you that we will see in the next level. So here I am creating the classes like odd style. I am creating odd style class. In the odd style class, I am defining background color. So background color, let's apply some RGB color. So and RGB color some value. So a light color, any color you can apply. You can even select for that. Suppose I said some 81, 227 and 230, something like color like this. This is the color. You can mix up these colors. You can choose a light color, more than that. Okay, that is odd style. Similarly, we say even style, even style, even style. For even style, I'm using again the background color, some RGB here, and I will change this even style to some other color. Suppose I will change this to light green color. So that is the even style. That is the even style. That is the odd style and even style. These are the two classes we are having, two classes. Now, how do we apply these classes? How do we apply these classes to this row? Now, here we can use the property here. Class. Class is a property. Actually, class name is also a property, but class is enough because Angular supports the class property dynamically. So which class? Class name you have to tell. Class name. Class name is odd style. Odd style is the class name. Okay. That means, so this CSS class will be accessed from here. Odd style CSS class will be accessed. But you have to tell where to apply this. Where to apply this. We have to tell where to apply this. That means odd style should be applied. Odd style should be applied only when odd is true. That means this O value will be configured there. That means if odd occurrence returns true, then this odd style will apply. Similarly, I am writing another class, even style. Even style. It should work only when even is true. Even is true. That means we are able to identify the occurrence of that particular item in an iteration. In an iteration, is it even occurrence, odd occurrence? If it is even occurrence, it will return true. If it returns true, then this even class will be applied. If odd occurrence returns true, odd style will be applied. So that means you can see that now you have alternative colors here. We can apply those alternative colors and display those alternative colors here. So that is the approach. That is the approach how we can design. So how we can configure and how we can design. So this is the basic thing. That means when any iteration is happening, we don't want the same to happen, same effects to apply everywhere. We need to identify its occurrence location. Based on occurrence location, we can apply certain effects and we can handle certain interactions. That is why we need this even. That means this is even, because even style and odd style will be applied based on what effects you have configured. So the first one is 0, so that is, and second one is 1, and third one is 2. Now if there are more items, this will repeat, this will continue. For even different effect, for odd different effect, it will apply. So that is the intention of identifying even occurrences, odd occurrences. So we need to know whether it is an even or odd occurrence. So dynamically we can apply some effects. So based on that, here important, how do we apply the class? So we have to access the attribute class dot class name and true or false. Do you want it or not? So true, then it will apply that class. False, it will hide that class. Adding the class for odd occurrence and hiding the class for even occurrence, this O will do. And applying the class for even occurrence and hiding for odd occurrence, that E will do. That's because they return the true, false, based on that it will apply those effects. And actually classes binding can be done in another way also, that I will show you in the next level how to do that. So occurrence also very important. Is it even occurrence, odd occurrence, first occurrence, last occurrence? Based on that, we can apply some effects and define them. Now here the major option is what is this track by and what is the intention of this track by. Why to use this track by? It is a function. And what is the role of that function and how it works? That we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will see what is track by and what is the role of track by. Okay. So by tomorrow, you try to do this exercise I given to you. You try to achieve that. right? If you are able to do that's great. I can give you some more exercises for practicing, right? So then we can continue with this track by how to work with that and use it. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue. Yes.
Hi, sir. Actually, I'm trying to define like some objects or methods. It's showing cannot define the name and showing error. And is there anything I'm missing? Library something?
Can you share your screen so that I can see?
Actually, it is there in my office laptop, so I can't share that. And
better you share a screenshot at least that error,
okay,
what error is coming in the classroom so that I can see.
okay, sir.
Without
Okay.
without seeing how I can tell what issue is there, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.